Current voice, English. Silver can't attract a good games host. Gold can't replace a nice tutorial. Welcome to Azure Game Utopia. Clank, Catacombs is a version of the Clank series. Players will navigate a changing dungeon, avoiding the attention of the Dragon Lord, stealing the best artifacts from the dungeon, and escaping. First, let's look at the player setup. Each player takes all wooden components of one color, 3 unlocked tokens, and a starting deck. The starting deck has a gray banner at the top. The cards are displayed on the screen. Remove any unused starting decks from the game. The player who has recently been a thief goes first, or the quietest player goes first. After shuffling your deck, draw 5 cards as your starting hand. Next, let's look at the central setup. Place the Clank board to the side. Place the dragon marker on the position corresponding to the number of players. Starting from the first player, place 3, 2, 1, 0 of your cubes here in a clockwise manner. Take the starting board and place it face up in any orientation in the center. Place your colored wooden marker here. Place the number of master tokens equal to the number of players above it. Place 3 yellow monkey idol tokens here. Shuffle all blue depths tiles face down. Take 4 purple safety tiles, shuffle them face down, and place them on top of the depths tiles. Remove the remaining safety tiles face down. Take out all the small items. Flip the major secret and minor secret tokens to the question mark side. Flip the prisoner tokens to the jail side. Place the market board nearby, and place all the items shown on the screen on top of it. Stack the crown tokens with the lowest value on top. Stack the hexagonal artifact boards with the highest value on top, face up. Place 24 black cubes in a dice and set it aside. Place the remaining items within easy reach. Separate the card decks shown on the screen into piles. This is the fixed card pool area. Shuffle the remaining cards face down and place them nearby, revealing 6 cards as the dungeon row. If a dragon symbol appears, discard it and draw again, until no dragon symbols are present. Then shuffle the discarded cards back into the deck. Finally, if there are any entry effects on the revealed cards, execute them. These cards are marked with a blue exclamation mark on the right center. Now the game can begin. The goal of the game is to explore the dungeon, acquire various items, and purchase cards to strengthen your deck. Points are represented by this green symbol. However, players must have at least 1 hexagonal artifact board to be eligible for scoring. Additionally, escaping the dungeon successfully will grant extra points. The player's turn is very simple, consisting of only 2 phases, as shown on the screen. Let's go through these 2 phases step by step. First is the play phase. Players must play all cards from their hand into their play area. The order of playing cards is not restricted, nor is the order of activating their abilities. Therefore, if you play a card, and then play another card that allows the first card to activate an additional effect, you can go back and execute it. The symbols and effects will be explained in detail later. If you purchase a card from the dungeon row during this phase, do not immediately refill the empty slot. The slot will be refilled during the end phase. Next is the end phase. In this phase, there are 3 steps to follow. First, place all cards from your play area face up into your discard pile. Then, draw cards from your deck until you have 5 cards in your hand. If your deck is insufficient, shuffle your discard pile and continue drawing. Then, refill the dungeon row to 6 cards. If any revealed cards have entry effects, execute them. If no cards with dragon symbols are revealed, the turn ends. Pass the turn to the next player clockwise and return to the play phase. If at least 1 card with a dragon symbol is revealed, proceed to the 3rd step. The dragon will attack exactly once. This part will be explained later. Now, let's look at the symbols on the cards and what they do during the play phase. The most common symbols on the cards are these 3. Skill points, blue, swords, red, and boots, yellow. Since these symbols are not marked, any unused symbols at the end of the turn do not carry over. Skill points are used to buy cards. You can purchase cards from the dungeon row or the 3 yellow cards above it. The cost of the card is shown in the bottom right corner. Purchased cards generally go directly into your discard pile. purple device cards. Activate their effect immediately upon purchase and are then discarded to the dungeon discard pile. If a purchase card has a gain effect at the bottom, it means the effect activates only once upon purchase. If the bottom right corner shows a sword symbol, it indicates that the card is a monster. Monsters cannot be purchased with skill points. You must spend swords to defeat them and activate their effect. Then place the card in the dungeon discard pile. The goblin is a special monster that is not discarded and can be defeated multiple times in a single turn. Simply put, every 2 remaining swords can be exchanged for 1 gold coin. Since gold coins are physical items, they can be stored. The main function of gold coins is to purchase items from the shop. This will be explained later. If a Clank keyword is played, it must be executed if possible. The effect is to place a number of your cubes from your supply onto the Clank area, indicating that the player has made noise. This increases the chance of the dragon attacking you. If there are no cubes in your supply, you do not place any. If the value is negative, it means you return the corresponding number of your cubes from the Clank area to your supply. If a card has a heart symbol, it means you return 1 of your cubes from the rightmost space on your health track to your supply. Finally, the boot symbol. Each boot symbol allows you to move your marker on the central map along the white lines by 1 step. Each footprint symbol on the path requires an additional boot symbol. Each monster symbol on the path means you lose 1 health, but you can use 1 sword symbol to negate it. When you lose health, place 1 of your cubes from your supply to the leftmost empty space on your health track. Each locked symbol on the path requires placing an unlocked token to pass. The token is not removed, so future players do not need to pay the unlocked token again. If there is an arrow on the path, it means the path is one way, unless you have items that allow otherwise. When you move to the edge of the current map, flip a new dungeon tile and place it at the edge where you are exiting. The tile can be rotated in any orientation, but must align correctly. It cannot be placed in a way that makes it impassable. There are many other effects, but since they are written on the cards, they will not be explained in detail here. Next, let's look at the room effects on the dungeon tiles. There are many types of room effects in the game. Most rooms activate their effect as soon as you enter them, without needing to stay there for the entire turn. First is the market. Here, you can spend 7 gold to purchase 1 item from the market board. The effects of the items are shown on the screen. Please refer to them. You can buy multiple items, including multiples of the same item. Wayshrine, if there is no cube of yours here, you can place 1 of your cubes from your supply here, and gain a number of gold coins, equal to the number of Wayshrines you have recorded. The cube on the Wayshrine is not removed. Artifact. Immediately place the topmost hexagonal artifact from the artifact stack here. Players can choose to pick up the artifact when they pass by. However, artifacts cannot be voluntarily discarded and generally, only 1 can be carried, unless certain effects allow otherwise. If there is a plus sign on the tile, it does not mean placing multiple artifacts. Instead, each plus sign means taking the next artifact in the stack. For example, 2 plus signs mean taking the 3rd artifact from the top. If it cannot be done, take the lowest possible artifact. The red arrow on the artifact indicates the dragon rage increases. Move the dragon marker on the Clank. Board up 1 space, making the dragon more ferocious. There are other ways to increase dragon rage in the game, all indicated by this arrow symbol. Locked resources. These 3 require spending 1 of your unlocked tokens to cover the symbol and gain the corresponding item. The prison allows you to gain up to 2 prisoner tokens. Flip the face down token to see the effect. If it has an immediate effect, it must be used in the same turn. Secret Tome. Place it directly into your discard pile. This card has no effect, but is worth 7 points. Portal. Allows movement to any other portal. Portals are not considered rooms, and moving between them does not cost additional movement points. For example, moving to another portal costs only 1 movement point. Crystal Cave. After entering here, you cannot spend any more movement points this turn. Even if you use cards to move out, you still cannot move further. However, if a card effect allows you to ignore the Crystal Cave effect, you can continue moving. Haunted Symbol. This is not a room. When you reveal a ghost symbol, place 1 of your white cubes on the corresponding space on the Clank board. This increases the dragon's attack damage. General rewards. These are general rewards. When you enter, take 1 of the corresponding rewards. Each room can only be triggered once per turn. General rewards include the 3 monkey idle tiles. At the starting tile, if you return here with at least one hexagonal artifact, you escape the dungeon. Take 1 master token and remove your marker from the dungeon. The above covers the basic symbols on the cards and the room effects. For other terms or symbols, please refer to the rulebook page 11 or the symbol reference sheet. Next, let's see how the dragon attacks. During the end phase, after refilling the dungeon row, if at least one of the reveal cards has a dragon symbol, the dragon will attack. Follow these steps exactly once. Place all cubes from the Clank area into the bag. Draw a number of cubes equal to the number shown next to the dragon marker. If there are danger cards in the dungeon row, they may cause additional cubes to be drawn. Please be aware of this. If a player's cube is drawn, place it on the leftmost empty space on that player's health track. If a white cube is drawn, all players must place one of their cubes on the leftmost empty space on their health track. If a player cannot place a cube, they place a black cube instead, indicating damage. Return the white cube to the corresponding area on the Clank board. It is not removed. If a black cube is drawn, place it outside the Clank board, considering it removed. However, some specific cards may allow it to be returned to the bag. If a player's health track is full, they are immediately knocked out. Lay down their marker on the board and complete the current turn normally. Knocked out players do not place new cubes on the Clank board and cannot be targeted by card effects. Instead, draw 4 additional cubes from the bag as an extra dragon attack. Then, end the turn. These rules also apply to players who have successfully escaped the dungeon. When all players have either escaped or been knocked out, the game ends. Before scoring, confirm if the scoring conditions shown on the screen are met. If any condition is not met, you do not score. If the conditions are met, the scoring items are the green values on all your tokens, and the green values on your cards. Each unused gold coin is worth 1 point. The player with the highest total score wins. In case of a tie, the player with the highest value artifact wins. There is a special situation, where you need to draw cubes from the bag, but there are not enough cubes. This means the dragon's rage is unstoppable. It unleashes a devastating attack, knocking out all remaining players in the dungeon, and scoring begins. These are all the rules of the game. Next, let's look at the summary of insights. Clank Catacombs is an interesting deck-building game. Players strengthen their decks and adventure in the dungeon to collect artifacts. However, the more you purchase dungeon cards or defeat monsters, the higher the risk of dragon attacks. The tension and excitement make the game highly addictive. Fans of deck-building games should definitely try it. This tutorial ends here. If you liked it, please subscribe, like, and comment. The Azure Game Utopia channel releases new videos every week. See you next time. Bye bye.